All right, all right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hope everyone's doing great and everyone is all right. Um, Welcome to this intro meeting for you either in 155 or 245. Got a few people still trying to get in. I'm going to give them a few seconds. We get
Hello, excuse me. My screen name is not Lena. It is Lena, but I'm Selena Harris.
okay. All right. Thanks for letting me know. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, good to meet you. Good to meet you. So, for those who are just getting in here, good evening. Oh, good afternoon. Hope everybody's doing great and everyone's all right. Um, welcome to the intro meeting. And I just want to give, the purpose of this meeting just to give you the opportunity to hear what I have to say about the class, how it's going to operate. I believe you have seen the emails that I've sent out and just to hear me verbalize those emails and see if you have any questions about it, and then see how class is going to operate moving forward as well. So this is for 155 and 245. Both of them are statistics classes, and I handle them the same way. So it didn't, I didn't really see a purpose of creating two different moments, two different videos. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into it, and then we can go ahead about our day. So I've sent you guys a few emails. Up to this point, every email that I send out to the class will be archived in your Canvas announcements. I'll email it to you and I will put it in your Canvas announcements. So you should get like two notifications whenever I send out an email, unless something, weird happening with technology. Let me make sure this is being, yep, we're good to go. Yeah, I just want to make sure my stuff is reported. And so you should get two notifications, one to your email, one about Canvas. And but if ever there is a lack of communication or you feel like you haven't heard from me in a while, just always go to your Canvas announcements. If I've sent out anything, it would be there. And that's the only reason or the only time that we'll be using Canvas. I don't put any of the grades or assignments or syllabus, anything. I don't put any of that in Canvas. I put all of that in MathLab because my goal is to push you to MathLab because everything that we have to accomplish is in MathLab, and don't want anyone to get a false sense of security about where your assignments are. And I don't want anybody to have to look in multiple places for things. So really, it's just about everything that we do is going to be in MathLab. The only time we're going to use Canvas is for communication in this regard. If I could have put this stuff in MathLab, then I would put it all in MathLab as well. Let's see, somebody said, sign the syllabus on the map. No, no, you don't have to sign the syllabus. There's just something that they have in there. I probably should have deleted, but this is something that they incorporate in all of our syllabus builder tech tools that we have. So yeah, don't worry about that. As long as you've seen the syllabus and then you operate and doing all your work, that's all I'm concerned about. All right. So let's go ahead and look at the emails that I sent to you guys. The first one was just letting you know what type of class that this is. Greeting you, of course, and let you know it's online asynchronous. That means we don't have any specific meeting times. It's just that, I give you the course content, and then from there you just get to work. And we have due dates, of course, but we'll talk about that in a second. But basically, you're doing everything on your own time. Fortunately, I was able to record lectures and stuff, so you'll have those at your disposal. But if you ever have online asynchronous class, not talking about from me, but from other classes, there's no guarantee that you'll get lectures out. I don't know if any of y'all had any experience with that, but we do have that at your disposal. So that's what that email was for. And of course, the second one was talking about, this meeting, and that's all it was. Just let you know we're having this meeting. It's not mandatory and all the good stuff. So go to the next email. Required materials for math for the class, and that's MathLab Access. We don't ask you to purchase a hard copy of the book, but you will need to purchase access to MathLab if you have not done so at this moment. Everything that we do is done through MathLab, all of your assignments, tests, quizzes, not quizzes, but tests, final exam, and midterm. Everything we do is going to be done through MathLab. So you have to have access to MathLab. We don't make you buy hard copy of the textbook, but an e-copy of the textbook is inside of MathLab. So I'll show you that in a few minutes as well. So you use this course ID to register for the shell. And then here are the instructions, and we're going to walk through it in a second. If you haven't done it, make sure you're comfortable with the instructions. Go to mymathlab.com. If you purchase access to MathLab from some outside source, in other words, TCC Bookstore, a friend, Amazon, Amazon holds everything now. You have a 16-digit access code that you have to input. If you don't have that, but you purchase access from Pearson, they won't give you a code, they will just give you the access. And then if you're not ready to do either one of those first two, then you can use a 14-day free pass that should be at the bottom of your screen as far as registering. So with the 14-day free pass, you get full access to the course for 14 days. Then after the 14 days are up, then it will lock you out. It will not mess with your progress or anything like that. I can even still see your progress. It's just that you will no longer have access until you actually pay for it, and then you get your access back. All right. Questions or anything I said so far? Everybody good? Everybody straight? All right.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, I already kind of started because I ain't know what to do as far as the assignment, and I started kind of working on your previous record lecture, and it says something about definitions for chapter one,
Mm-hmm.
but it was the previous recording lecture was on chapter two. Do we still need to start on chapter one? Because I have started on chapter one and chapter two definitions,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was gonna go back into the lectures and
Mm-hmm.
the chapters on the math lab.
Mm-hmm. Now, can I mess with you? You gonna let me mess with you?
Yeah, mess with me.
Why you ain't gonna let me do my thing, man? I'm up here trying to give you all this information, and I'm gonna get to it, and I'll just bless with you. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna get there, but we're gonna talk about definitions. Yes, chapter one is where you start. But we're gonna get there. Yeah, I haven't even got nowhere
Okay,
near
because
the back
I'm
yet.
going too fast. I just hate not knowing something. That's all. I'm
Oh no,
sorry.
it's all good. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Yeah, you're a little bit ahead of me, but it's all good. We're gonna get to it. But you are gonna start with chapter one, but it's a reason why lectures don't start with chapter one. And I'll talk to you about it. We're gonna hit that before we leave here for sure.
Okay, thank you.
All right, no, but I'm good. I'm glad to hear that you on top of stuff though. So that's what's up. That's cool.
I got to be because I got test anxiety and then I got kids on the outside world, so I got to be.
I feel you. I feel you. All right, so let's go ahead and get there. So let's go ahead. We did the MathLab access, MathLab specifics. So how we're going to use MathLab is what this email is addressing. First things to make sure that you see this warning is that if you have Apple products, Safari does not work well with MathLab. Unless they changed something since last semester, it's not going to work well with it. It's very, spotty. It works sometimes, sometimes it don't. Sometimes show you part of it, sometimes it won't show you none of it. So don't even mess with it. It's better. And then when you use it, you wouldn't even know if you're missing something sometimes. So that's why I said don't even mess with Safari when it comes to MathLab. Use either Chrome or Firefox. I use Chrome all the time and it works with no problem. Okay, and those are free internet browsers that you can download. All right, so let's look at these. You cannot pass the class without access to MathLab because all of your assignments are done and generated through MathLab. So I talked about that, a few minutes ago, but I just want to reemphasize that point. Everything we do is done through MathLab, so it's impossible to pass the class without access to MathLab. Okay. You must participate or show activity weekly. You don't have to get in there every day, but at least, weekly you want to get in there. And really, if you're doing your work, you're going to be in there more than once a week. But, at least get in there weekly because at some point I do have to give an account for your activity and your participation in the class, especially if you have financial aid and stuff, because the government, asking us, are you, participating in class? And so, yeah, so make sure you're doing that. That's, MathLab solidifies your attendance. If you're having any issues of any kind, please let me know. Get with me. You don't have to give me deep, intimate details, but you should let me know something if you know you haven't been doing any type of work. Because like I said, I have to give an account for it. Every semester, every year, every class, I have people that just fall off the face of the earth, and I never hear from them again. They stop doing assignments. They don't email me. They don't tell me anything. And of course, I don't have a choice but to give that person an F because I mean, what else am I supposed to do? So in order for me to know that you're not that type of person or that's not your situation, please at least, email me and let me know something. Like I said, if it's no more than, having a rough time at home, but I'm gonna I'm gonna pick up the pace. Just letting you know that I'm still here, and that's good enough for me. And if there's anything I need to do, if there's due dates or something like that, just let me know, and I'll help you out the best I can. All right. Now, when it comes to homework, you have unlimited amount of attempts to get the best grade possible. But when it comes to that, if with unlimited amount of attempts, then I'm looking for at least a 75, at least a 75, 75 to 84.9. You see it right there. I will give you 90% in my grade book. 85 to 100, I will give you a 100%. So if you want full 100%, you want to at least score 85. Now, with unlimited amount of attempts, there's no such thing as unlimited amount of problems. So I do know it is possible to play the game. In other words, what I mean by that is that, you click on it, get it wrong, record the, because they give you the answer. And then you keep on clicking on it, clicking on it until that problem come back up. And then you get the answer. And then next thing you know, you got 100 on all your homework. Well, if you didn't do the homework for real, then you don't have a true understanding of what's going on. And then you're gonna mess around, get to the test, and you got hundreds on everything, then might get a 20 on the test. Well, that kind of reflects that, you didn't take notes. You didn't even, what I'm saying? Like, I'm not stopping you from taking notes or using notes on the test or whatever. So do your part and do the homework and treat the homework properly so that it can help you when it comes to actually doing your test, midterms, final exam, and so on. All right. So, and of course, if you have any questions on anything, that's what my office hours are for and all the good stuff like that. Now, test reviews, they're not mandatory. But if you score 85% on it or better, then I will add 5 points to that respective test. So a lot of times people ask about extra credit. Extra credit is already built into the system I've created here. For every test, there's a test review for the midterm and final exam as well. There is a review that's right before it. And instead of like your homework's unlimited amount of tries that you can, practice all you like. Um, so, take advantage of that. You don't have to do any of those. Once again, they are not mandatory. They're not mandatory. So let's say, and let me say this, I would suggest that you at least take a look at them, even if you don't do them. So let's say if you go into the test, take a look at it, you do a couple problems, then you come out and then you score 20%. That 20% will not be held against you because they're not mandatory. They can only help, they cannot hurt you. Once again, if you score 85 or better, then that will add 5 points to that respective test. All right. Also, going back to your homework grades and that adjustment, that 75, give you 90%, 85, give you 100%. That's only for your homework. And keep in mind that adjustment will not occur until, when I do my final grading. That's something that I'm doing. There's no way for me to program MATLAB to do that. So your grade, you'll just see your grade as a 75, but just know that if you calculate it on your own, or when I go to calculate your grades, I will count it as a 90%. Once again, that does not change in MATLAB any kind of way. I have to, do that manually when I do your grading. All right. Your tests are what they are. So if you score 75 on your test, then you get a 75. But you will have 2 attempts to get the best grade possible. If you want more than 2 attempts, then that's not a problem. It's just a conversation. I understand stuff happen. Cat can walk across your keyboard, hit submit, and all stuff like that. So it's just a conversation. But without a conversation, you get 2 attempts. Okay. And then last one, this is just a general statement I give to all my classes. Your classes probably, not probably, your classes will not have that much scratch work, if any, for majority of tests, because we're using technology. But that's just a general statement that I normally use. So if you don't have much scratch work, then I know there's a couple of stuff here and there, but really not that much. All right. Questions, concerns, comments, anything, anybody?
Are the tests timed?
No, but your final exam and your midterm will be 2 hours. That will be time because I got to sit in for 2 hours. But the tests aren't created for a 2 hour test. So most people do finish early. But I'm just saying you have 2 hours at your disposal. So I most definitely didn't create a 2 hour test, but I do give you that for the midterm and final exam. And then, like I said, to go back to your original question about just the tests in general, they are not timed.
Okay, that works.
All right. Good
And
question.
then did you get an email from Brandy Roberts at all?
When was that sent?
I sent it right after you started welcoming us to the class about my current internet situation I didn't foresee.
I think I didn't remember reading that, but I don't think I didn't get a chance to respond, but I just want to confirm. I'll confirm before we leave out. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Yep, I see it. Oh, you said that on Friday. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got you though. I got you. All right. Thanks for bringing that back to my remembrance. All right. So this math lab specifics. Okay. Next one. Previously recorded lectures. So you have the recording for all the lectures moving, from beginning to end. This is 155, and then 245, you got other sections, it'll set up differently, but you still have the links, YouTube links to all of my lectures, and it's the same lectures you would get from me if you were in my class. So yeah, do what you want with that. You look at them or not, it's up to you, but at least you have them at your disposal. All right. So questions on anything before I actually go into Math Lab? Anything, anybody? And for those who came in late, I got 155 in here and I got 245. Both are statistics classes and both I'm handling the same way. So if you see 155 stuff, it's not because you're in the wrong space. It's just I had two different classes and it don't make sense for me to open up two different shelves. It's still the same process. Okay. All right, let me look at, nope, not that one. Pull this one up. Give me 1 second. And it is 73447. All right. So let's go to Math Lab real quick. So all right, so let's look at making sure that we okay with the registration process. You would do www or whether you type in www or not, but it's mymathlab.com, right? And then you go to register student access. All right, it's asking you, are you using the LMS? We do have an LMS. If you don't know what it is, that's Learning Management System, and that's Canvas, but we aren't using it. Remember, I told you I didn't integrate or make MathLab to interface with Canvas. So really, you either just scroll down or just hit no, and then just say you're ready to register, and then type in that course ID that I gave. I can go ahead and use that one since it's right there. Oh, this is right. I got to log in. All right, so you see, this is what should occur. You type in the course ID that I gave you. Once again, for those who are 155, it'll say 155. For those who are 245, it'll say 245. And it'll have it up there. So make sure that is proper. When you log, I mean, that's correct when you go to log on. And you either have an access code, so you type it in right here, or you just go ahead and purchase access. Um, I don't have it down here because of the nature of my account, but you have the 14-day free pass link somewhere down here that you can click on, and it will give you 14 days full access. All right. So let me go back and go to the actual course. All right, so let's go into, all right, hold on. Okay, let's go into the shell. All right, so everything that you need is in the course. Your syllabus is right here. I do need to update this top part, with my office hours and all this stuff like that. But the content, if you just needed to see the syllabus, the content and everything is the same and is correct. Even our breakdown with the homework, test, midterm, and final. So that's your breakdown right there. Your assignments are right here from beginning to end. You should be able to see all of them. And the due date should be 12/12. We'll talk about that in a second. And then you have your chapter 1 and chapter 2 definitions. All right. So when it comes to your chapter 1, chapter 2 definitions, notice I just mentioned chapter 1 and chapter 2, and that's just to make sure that your foundation is straight moving forward. After chapter 2, I'm not asking for any more definitions. They're the only ones that you're going to do that like that. It's just that I found that, reassuring your foundation with the terminology does help. And then chapter 1 and chapter 2 math lab work leans on those definitions anyway. So a lot of those words and everything, a lot of those answers you're going to find in your definitions, and you'll just be able to translate them to the math lab work. All right. So let's see. This was not made to be a scavenger hunt. It's just each one of them are bolted out and line by line. So the way it's set up, you should be able to see your answers very relatively easy. So and also, and we're about to go to the e-text. You see the e-text is right here. Just click on it and go. I'm not gonna click on it because I already have it, up here. I didn't want to make it reload. But you click on here, open my e-text, and then it'll pop up. All right. So looking at these definitions, let's go back to Safari. Remember I mentioned Safari and how funny acting it is. With Safari, only one page will show up. So when people email me the definitions, they'll only give me one page, and I know they're working with Safari, and I have to remind them, there's more than one page here. But anyway, notice how it says two definitions. What are two definitions of statistics? Population parameters, sample, raw data, sample statistics. So the reason why I point that out is because when you go to the textbook, starting at page 1. Let me go back. Okay, starting at the beginning. It says what the two definitions of statistics. Population parameters, sample, raw data, sample statistics. So they're all in order. So the way I got it set up, if you get to number 12 and you didn't run across number 9, 10, and 11, somewhere you missed them, and you just need to double back and see where they are. Like I said, all of them are in order. And all it is to familiarize you with the terminology and to help you create a good foundation of moving forward, and what they're going to be asking of you and different things they're going to be using and leaning on and everything like that. So, and I'm going to email this to you as well as far as due date. Let's see, I gave my in-person class 3 weeks, so I gave them to the 16th. So 9/16 is where you should get these definitions. I believe that's more than enough time. It's 3 weeks to get these definitions, into me. And all you would do is just email them to me. If you want to type them up, feel free. If you want to write them in a notebook, feel free. You can write them in a notebook, take a picture with your phone, and email it to me. Whatever way you want to do it, I don't mind. Whatever way helps you to create your notes and all the good stuff like that and give you something to better reference, do it whatever way you like. And like I said, email it to me. And then once you email it to me, I will send you information, send you a response that I got it, and then I will manually put the grade into MATLAB. But keep in mind, that's the only time that we're going to be doing this process, just with these two definitions, chapter 1, chapter 2 definitions. You do them, send it to me, I'll put it in the grade. And then from there, everything else you'll be doing through MATLAB. And then when you hit submit, you get your grade. Somebody say something in the chat. Yep. Meeting is already recording, and I'm gonna send it to everybody because everybody's not gonna be here. It was optional anyway, so I'll go send it to the class anyway. Yep. All right. Questions on the definitions, like I said, they are due by 9/16. And when I send you this recording, I'll put that in there as well to remind you about that. All right, everybody good on definitions? Everybody understand? All right. So now, last major thing I should say, your homework. Notice the due date says 12/12. You have two due dates that you have to be cognizant of as far as my class is concerned, and that's halfway through and then at the end. So that's your end due date. I need to map out 8 weeks. Once I map out 8 weeks, it'll be due on that Sunday, coming out of your 8 weeks. So that gives you half of the class. Chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 is what's going to be due by your that 8-week deadline. And before 8 week, we're going to do a midterm week wherein you have to log on. I'll give you about 4 or 5 days to choose from, or 4 or 5 options to choose from, in which you would take your midterm. You would just log on, show your ID, make sure your camera is enabled, show your ID, and then you take your midterm and then go ahead on about your day. I'm going to send you information on how to do all this stuff. Notice how it's set up: chapters 1, chapters 2, test review, test 1, chapter 3, chapter 4, test review, and then test 2. Notice the midterm is right here, but there's no midterm because you don't need it right now, but that is your midterm review. And then if you go down to your final exam, you should see the same thing: final exam review, but no final exam. When you do see it though, it will, when you click on it, it will prompt you for a password. Don't email me for the password. You're not getting the password. You don't get the password till the day that you're going to take your midterm or the day you're going to take your final exam. Those are only two things that are password protected. And once again, you'll get those passwords on the day of the exam that you take it. Also with chapters 1, chapter 2. Now for 155, I do start with chapter 2's lecture. This is what your classmate were mentioning. But chapter 1, there is no lecture because it's based on definitions. In 245, I do a little lecture, just point out a few things out of chapter 2. But once again, the foundational elements of chapter 1, chapter 2 are definitions. So I don't do a lecture on that because all it is the definitions. You write it down, and and that's it. Make sure you understand the definition. Now, if you have questions on anything, then make sure you get with me. But it's just a regurgitation or the re-emphasizing of those definitions. And so there were certain things I wanted to point out in chapter 2. So that's why I started in chapter 2. But that's why you don't see a lecture of chapter 1 because it's so much just basically definitions that we can read and everything. So, but once again, if there any clarity that's needed, or because sometimes there are certain things that may make you like, hold on, what does that mean? Just email me or come to my office hours, which I will be posting soon, and then we can make sure you have the clarity that you desire when it comes to anything. Even of course past chapter 1s and 2s, but yep. So that's why that starts like that when it comes to the lecture. But you still are responsible for chapter 1 and chapter 2, the definitions and your math lab work. All right. Questions. I got this one last thing I want to do for you. They only have one problem here. I don't want that one. All right, so let's look at math lab. Just gonna go here. Oh, yeah, this is not a good one. Let's go here. Let's see. No, this wasn't a good one because the problems are relatively simple. Let me do this. Three, two. All right, let's do this one. Sure we're sharing the right screen. Still not sharing it. Come on now. All right. Okay, we on it now. Okay, so you go to one of your assignments, and you go to doing your work and everything. So let's just putting anything in here right now. All right. So you hit check answer, they try to give you a hint. Check it again. Once again, give you a hint, and then notice it says final check. So how many problems, or not how many problems, how many attempts they give will be based on the complexity of the problem. If it's a true false question, of course, then I will give you 5 times to do it. It's just one time, because if you get it wrong, it's the answer, right? So you can hit final check, and then they'll tell you the correct answer versus what you chose. Just put in here. How many problems? Come on, man. Okay, I didn't know it had this many parts to it. Okay, that one I got right. Cool. All right. Show you all these. Okay, so this is what I want to get to. So resetting the problem, you can hit similar question right here or hit next question. If you hit next question, then it will just go to the next question. But let's say if you didn't reset the problem, similar question is still down here, so you can reset it, and then it will give you it'll give you a similar question to just different numbers, and so you can walk through it. Notice how I got part of it right, part of it wrong. So it gave me a red X/green check. That will be reflected in my problem list as well. If I get it all right, let's say I do it over, get it all right, then it'll give me the full green check and full points. If I got it all wrong, it would just been a red X. All right. Help me solve this. Most people don't click on that because if they do, it will mark it wrong and just, because it's going to solve it for you. And that would just mark it wrong. And then you have to go do the problem all over again. Most people hit view an example and it'll give you a problem similar to it, and you can walk through it step by step. You can even print it out if you like. Sometimes I have students that'll print out have a whole folder or a notebook full of stuff, but they print it out from help for viewing examples. So that's an option as well. Get help. Depending on the complexity of the problem will dictate how many options you have here. Sometimes you have a video, sometimes you have animation walking through the problem. The video would just be another peer, it would be another instructor, but it'd be a Pearson instructor talk about a problem. So one of those, depending on, like I said, how involved the problem is will dictate if you have videos and animation. Textbook, it just send you to the textbook, the e-text, where this problem is discussed. StatCrunch is Pearson's version of Excel. You can learn how to work that or not. It is up to you. Just keep in mind that whatever you use throughout your homework, to make sure you will be able to use it on your midterm and final exam. I won't use a lockdown browser, but so that means you need to be efficient in whatever you're using, and you will be able to use that. But whatever you use, make sure it's dependable. What you don't want is that you be using something all the way up to the midterm, and then now you don't have a way to access it. And it won't be on me because I'm giving you the freedom to access it, but whatever happened with that site or whatever. So if you need help with StatCrunch, always feel free to get with me outside of, not outside of class because we don't have class, right? Just get with me during office hours or set up a time to meet and we can talk about how to use StatCrunch, but it's not mandatory. So that's why I didn't create a video or anything like that on StatCrunch. All right. Tech help is just reaching out to their tech people with any type of issues you may have. And then Ask My Instructor is sending me an email that you had a problem with this problem. So if you ever decide to use Ask My Instructor, it is possible. I'm guessing the only reason I say that's because all I know is what I've been told by, a student. They could have been gaslighting me. And what I say by that is that they said that they emailed me and I hadn't responded. But then when I go check my email, I don't see that email. So if you use this, it is a possibility that there may be a time, and it's very rare that happen, but it is a possibility that it may happen that maybe it doesn't interface as well and I don't get the email. Like I said, all I know is what that student told me. So if that's the case, then just email me again. It's not a problem. Reminding me or, anything can happen with a flood of emails. I could miss it, anything like that. Just like, matter of fact, when your classmates just, check with me, say, hey, did you get that email that I sent? Blah, blah. I don't mind. I need it sometimes, but I don't create opportunities for you to connect with me for me to not respond. So that's not my goal. So my goal is to respond to your emails. I know I got some ones to catch up with right now anyway. With the first week of class and all the stuff like that. A lot of people emailing me. So yeah. Never hesitate to remind me or to resend an email, and I'll most definitely make sure I get back with you. And I'm gonna respond with, well, how do you want to talk about it? Do you want to make a video? Do you want to set up a Zoom? You want me just to respond back to the email? And then we'll make sure you're good to go. All right. I think that is pretty much it as far as that is concerned. Let's see. Anything else I need? Any questions while I'm making sure that I covered everything? Questions, concerns, comments? Hold on, what happened? That was weird. All right. Did y'all screen just go black? Was that just mine? Anybody? All right, so I think
There's yours.
it was just mine. Okay. All right. Well,
Yes,
that's
sir.
good. That's good. All right. So, well, that's it. That's all I had. That's pretty much covered everything as far as how the class is going to be handled. I will be sending out my office hours before the week is out for sure. And it's just, Zoom links on the days that I'm available, and you can all go on to any point in time. It's always good to let me know that you're coming. So if I step away, or if you come in at, let's say my office hours at 11, you come in at 11:30. If I wouldn't step away at 11:30, if I had to go to the restroom or whatever, something like that. So always good to let me know that you come in, so that I can prepare for you and just be in place for sure. But other than that, if y'all don't have any questions, I'm good if y'all are good. I look forward to having a great semester with you. And just know I'm here for you if you need anything. All right. You guys have a good one.
Okay, I got a question.
Okay.
I just want to talk directly to you.
Now hold on. Do you want me to cut the recording off?
You can.
Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Anybody else? I see the chat. All right. No problem. Thank you. You have a good one. All right. Anybody else before I cut off the recording? Not class related. All right. You guys have a good one.
Okay.